Welcome to EIP Editing Office Hour. I'm sorry, and I just have to hit the record button. Sorry about that.
Recording in progress.
Welcome to EIPIP meeting 118. This is July 16th, and this is on Ethereum PM repo issue number 1621. We are joined by editors and some community contributors. On agenda, we have open issues and PRs, which requires editors' attention. We do have call for inputs, which people can be made aware of. And if anyone has thoughts, they would go ahead and add it to the issue just to let people know what they think about these particular issues. After that, we have a community project presentation here, followed by some discussions and updates, along with the EIPS Insight monthly EIPS status reporting. So, starting with the very first item, I have noticed there are two open call for inputs, and I would like to invite Sam to maybe talk about issue number 389 and 390. Sam, if you are speaking, we aren't able to hear you. If there is any microphone issue, yeah. Sure. So let's proceed with the other item while Sam is taking care of his microphone. On the next item, we have some miscellaneous issues and PRs to be looked into. The first one here is issue number 1008. I'm going to share the link right here in the chat. It's auto review bot failing on PR 930. I suppose here the requester is facing an issue with the error mention is no artifacts found. It seems like either there is no artifacts on the repo or yeah, some help is required here. If any editor has thoughts on that, or if they can perhaps add any comment. At the very least, I wanted to bring it to the meeting so people can take a look and see if this can be helped. It seems to be sitting there for quite some time. Well, moving ahead, I found another similar issue, which is called missing state updates or optimizable state variable. Here again, I suppose editor may be able to help. This seems like a genuine problem to me, not a spam issue. So kindly take a look, and if there is any suggestion for the initiator of this issue, please feel free to add there. Moving ahead, I have added a bunch of issues which I feel like either it needs to be closed or they are kind of a spam issue. I am unable to hear thoughts from editor on this, so I just want to bring it up here. Does anyone has any objection on closing either of them? I don't know, Sam, if you would like to check if your audio is working and if you have any thoughts on any of these issues.
Hopefully my audio is working now, but I also didn't hear anything from the last 10 seconds.
That makes sense. Very well. So we were just talking about the miscellaneous issues and the issues, those are added here to be closed. So for miscellaneous, I found that there are two issues which might need editor's attention. One is issue number 1008 and the other one is 931. Both are on the ERC repository. So I just wanted to bring it to editor's attention, see if there is any response, appropriate response for these people. Beyond that, we have a bunch of open issues which I feel like it should be closed. So going one by one, do you want me to go with that, or we can perhaps take a look at it after the call? It does not require a lot of editor's input rather than a decision here, should it be closed or not.
So the auto review bot one looks fine. I think the other ones are probably okay to look at after the call. If there's anything contentious, I'll message people.
Sure. Any thoughts on to be closed list? I think there are 5 open issues here, which all seems to be closed. Editors, if you think that it should not be closed and it is a genuine one, please feel free to add a comment. Otherwise, I have just flagged them to be closed. There are next bunch of proposals which are typos. The first one here is PR number 856. Any one objects for this one to be merged. Oh, I'm sorry, why I did not copy it. Address, and it is 856. Anyone here objects for it to be merging?
No, this looks fine.
Cool. Next one is for ERC 5850, which is again, I believe it is waiting on editor's input. Like, I believe it is just a spelling and someone is trying to fix it. And it's pending for quite some time here.
Accommodate initialize. Therefore, yep, this looks good too.
Cool. All right, the next one is 811. And this is again, this is not waiting on editor, but I believe, Sam, you are one of the authors here. So that's why it's pinging you to check. 6880.
Yeah, this looks fine.
Okay, thank you, Luke.
Terminate.
Yeah, because sometimes it requires author's permission as well. So yeah, that is another the case. The next one is 1121. It is waiting on editors. Victor, Sam, anyone thinks it's fine, we should go ahead and merge it. In fact, we are collecting feedback if we do not merge it. Otherwise, they are good to be merged. 1121. Also just typo. Yep. Sounds good. 1122 is another one. So these all are good. Good. Perfect. This is merged as well. Yeah, so these are all bunch of like typo fixes. And the last one here is 10011. This, as an editor, require permission. Victor, Sam, anyone can approve it and it would be merged. Well, that brings us to the end of the all typo and miscellaneous issues and PRs that we wanted to have reviewed by the editors. And we can perhaps go back to the call for input. There are 2 call for inputs open here. Sam, if you would like to maybe give some overview of 389 and 390.
Can do. All right, so for 389, there's a proposal that is encoding some data according to protocol buffers. And they call out protocol buffers by name, but because of the linking rules, they can't hyperlink to it, obviously. This is basically just asking whether or not we want to allow links to protobuf, whether they're hyperlinks or just by mentioning it by name. Yeah, that's pretty much for that one. I'm, I guess, kind of slightly against it because it's not really a standards body, it's just a library. And if we allow links to protocol buffers, we could also we should also allow links to Open Zeppelin and a whole bunch of other things. So yeah, yeah. Then we have
390. I think the link was pointing towards a wrong issue. I just have fixed it if you want to refresh it.
yeah. 390 is in relation to the recent problems on testnets. Somebody proposed adding a new section to EIPs about chain specific considerations, like what you need to the section being like if something's different on a test net, or if there's a special consideration that you have to have when you're starting the chain from Genesis, like those kind of things. Yeah.
As I have already added the inclination for these to call for inputs. For 389, one is abstain and one is in favor. For 390, both editors are opposing it, but there are more editors. I would kindly request editors and whoever is interested in this particular call for input, please go ahead and leave your thought on the issue. So editors would be in a position to make appropriate decision about these call for inputs. We generally keep it open for about a month. So that's your time to respond to this. And after that, it will be closed and will be acted accordingly. Yes, Victor, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to comment on the 389 about linking to protocol buffer. As Sam probably know that I always have been very advocated for enabling and allowing links to external resources. I think in general we should allow links to resources, and even that's like my general opinion. The consensus that editors have is like they have to be stable for at least 10 years. And then I think proto buffer at least also match that criteria. I personally like to even relax the criteria a little bit more, but I think based on the consensus of the rule, I want to speak in strong favor for allowing linking to like long-term stable libraries. That's my statement. I'm done speaking.
All right. Thank you, Victor, for sharing that. I wonder if you would like to maybe add briefly. So at the time of making a decision, we could capture your thought, though it is already recorded in this meeting, but it would be nicer to have it added over there in a couple of sentences if possible. Sam,
good.
if you are speaking, if you are still muted, I mean, we can't hear you again. Yeah, we can't hear you.
Sorry, are you talking to me? I'm not muted. I'm good.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, no, I thought that you were saying something. We saw you unmuting, but we were not able to hear anything from you. Just wanted to let Victor know that if you could add the comment, that would be nice. Yeah. Cool. With that, we are done with the first agenda item. Next is the community project. So, because we are working towards EIPs, we are receiving a request from community to extend their support, some different platforms and toolings that they may have built in order to streamline the process with different suggestions and all. So for today, we are joined by PSky. He is suggesting a platform that is designed to address critical pain points in the current EIP process. So I would like to invite PSky to maybe share his project, and would love to hear feedbacks from editors.
Hey everyone, thanks for giving me a mic. Pleasure to be here. So I guess some of here, maybe Sam knows me a little bit already from constantly crazy ideas posting on the Ethereum GitHub. Some of them are background in my like security architecture at Open Zeppelin. Some more like ancient career of mine in telecom industry. But generally speaking, when I joined the blockchain, and I used to work more like in radio electronics and like completely different field before, I was very excited by the community and ability to basically collaborate across borders in some very big and permissionless system. So for me, a lot of my work previously, I worked a lot with the DAOs and technology around that. And I mean, like when I worked at Open Zeppelin before, and currently we're also working a lot on the voting algorithms and researching like game theoretical aspects, basically how to, make all of the agents rationally aligned to collaborate on the one same blockchain technology worldwide. It's to say like at least my bottom line for all of the work I do, and generally trying to elevate that to the kind of like really global adoption. I think today the blockchain is very well known, but is still very less adopted. And one of the pain points I see as a developer who has a lot of ideas and a lot of struggles myself developing and really trying hard to build an applications on Ethereum, which go beyond already existing things, is to just help improve the protocol from my vision, and in that regard, we came up with this idea of bringing a portal which is specifically related to the protocol improvements on the blockchain space in general, and not just for Ethereum. And we are trying to, so I'll post here a link. Pooja, should I post a link here for the documents we have, or generally speaking, people here know the GitHub
Yeah.
and they...
Yeah, please feel free to drop link, and if you would like to share your screen to like demo the project, that is also
fine. Sure. Let's do that. So I'll start by sharing the link so everyone has access for the big document we're proposing. So basically, the idea of ours is that we don't want to go for kind of grant support and trying to live off public goods. That's generally the philosophy of Pyramid Labs, which is my company. So we've come up with this project as an idea for something more that can be sustainable in a way, as maybe as something that would compete in some way of understanding with the discourse forum boards, which is arguably today, or unarguably probably the leader of the blockchain collaboration space, I would say. So basically every system would either have forum board, and Ethereum has at least two, I know, which is already quite, when I just joined the space, it was quite a challenge to understand how they actually align. There is a lack of understanding how it's all streamlined. Also, a lot of projects in Ethereum is leading here basically keep all of the EIP work in the repositories. So you would need to have a technical skills of using GitHub. You will need to have an account on GitHub at all to actually contribute to Ethereum, which is kind of like you're using like system which is owned by Microsoft. Like to some extent, of course, I understand this is how industry works, but it doesn't mean we should stay there. So what we are proposing is basically to create a forum or like streamlined system where the state machine of EIPs, how they're being created, how are being they're actually requested, is also tied to things like who are actually using Ethereum. What do the users want? Today, the projects do not have things like you would probably have in regular products, like NPS scores for Ethereum don't really exist because it's a decentralized system. So what we are doing here, I'm just like, so I'll start just like going through the prototype we brought up. So it's a high-level overview. Idea is that we could add here not just Ethereum, but also rollups and other protocols, because oftentimes the standards are actually something that unites us together around problems. So like ERC20, for example, is very widely adopted and so on. we would want to add here AI, like basically like vector database search engine, so that you can easily get the information of all of the projects. And that would be an aggregator where you can actually see the profiles of the authors, how they perform, what is their impact on the protocols, because it's one of the important aspects, I think, of centralization. So, for example, for me, when I was doing this project, it was quite actually surprisable that Vitalik is not the most successful PR creator on the EIP repositories. And that would be something interesting to show to community as well, and explain that also people like Vitalik are getting rejected when they create the EIPs, and their protocol, has a pushback to authority. However, there is also an influence course, and basically you can, see it like around different projects, different tracks. So who is more, contributing to the, so we can clearly see who is contributing to like roll-up improvement core proposals. That statistics is actually a few months old. We brought very simple prototypes, so it might be not up to date, but I hope you grasped and bear with me the whole idea. Obviously, we can have like a breakdowns. So anticipating the question, what centralization here means is basically we wanted to understand from all of the authors who actually create any EIP or ERC, how many unique authors actually are can get to the living standard. That was very like basically to the final rather, like sorry. And that would be like our acceptance rate. And centralization would be basically what is the amount of the unique we have here. Some explanations. Sorry. So centralization would be like the authors with finalized proposals divided by total authors, while acceptance rates would be finalized divided by active proposals. So that would be reducing the stagnant and withdrawn. Now, for specifically Ethereum, the idea is that for every portal, we would bring up specific portal. For every ecosystem, we would have specific portal. So say ethereum.dip.box, which is basically right now is aggregator for all of the IPs. Obviously, you can search here for some specific numbers. You can search by statuses. It's just general like website. And then the idea is that we would add here a robust state machine for actually creating new APIs, submitting them. We tried here to do this with GitHub, but that would require actually Ethereum PMs to give us some app access, because it's very complicated to do that from just regular like app token. Basically, we would have to fork everything, and that's quite complicated. But yes, so we would have like the kind of like boilerplates. And I've seen that Puja, you have a project which is actually doing something similar with, this kind of easy start for the proposals. But I think this idea goes much longer because we could add here specific voting, specific maybe metrics. What we right now trying to conceptualize is, let's say, doing the quarterly index of customer, basically indexing how much gas was used by the users and letting them actually support and give a say, usage based on what standards they actually want to see, or even issue an RFPs. And if that portal is accepted by Ethereum, then it could have with time add the discussions. It could be like very gradual process, but it could significantly streamline and help understand how the EIP processes work and feel that very formalized. Because right now, if I created the EIP, and it's my recent experience, I I put that in a stage of review. As an independent author, my expectation is that for the review, there is some timeline at which I will get feedback. But then I just see that my EIP is being moved to stagnant, which is a surprise for me because I would expect there is some protocol for giving a feedback for the authors. And this portal could potentially have more like decentralized machine, which actually pushes the process forward, and it can split. The ideas we have for state machine is to basically do the quarterly or any kind of pace you want system where based on when the quarter ends, the drafts are moved, the review processes are moved, so you could have like this just-in-time streamlined process of actually just managing the whole Ethereum like PM part. I guess it could be helpful, and I know that Pooja, we spoke with you on the DevCon briefly, that you would actually want to see this more streamlined and like understand when the statuses changes on standards. So we also think that being able to edit and actually so let's say if today I want to do some discussions or edit, I have to basically do that on 2 different platforms. I need to use GitHub. I need to know how to do the forks. Whether here you basically could create the edits and propose your diff, and then you could have different algorithms and also community engagement to actually discuss which ones do make sense. And just connect it all to the larger, like kind of like more decentralized concept. Try to hear the amount of usage from the customers and give them the weights to actually support each RFPs, streamline the state machine. And we are trying to talk not just Ethereum, but other ecosystems to get them use this. And the concept would be that, as I was mentioning from the beginning, we don't want to develop it as just a grants-based project. We rather want to do the business model same as Discourse does, whether it's fully open source, you can host it yourself, but then we would be offering just these hostings and some AI enhancements where similar as Discourse basically business model. So just looking for feedback here, any thoughts? We really want to contribute something useful to the Ethereum community, and that's one of the things which comes to our mind.
Thank you so much for this presentation here. I have a few comments, especially with respect to more discussion. I wanted to understand about the issue with the stagnant. Like, is there a way where we can get more attention to the proposal before moving it to stagnant? Because as per the present process, a proposal is moved to stagnant if there is no activity for 6 months or more.
So as an author of a proposal, I see clear distinguishment from draft to being in review. So the draft thing, early stage of proposal, is something where we can discuss. And again, like my main work, and I can share it, actually is really strongly related to the voting algorithms right now and different round robin types of discussion using Web3, which I'm not touching here, but basically the discussion stage. And then I assume that there are higher level hierarchy in this ecosystem. Even if I would want to have it like fully decentralized, I respect that there is a hierarchy of experts in the field who are established experts. And I would want to have my expectation that there will be a feedback. So if there is a 6 months it's not my 6 month in my understanding of responsibility to take an action on that standard, because I already wrote it and I want to have strong community feedback telling, no, we're rejecting that, or so what should I do?
Yeah. Yeah, I can totally understand that from author's point of view, but just for people to know about it, generally speaking, EIP standardization process, EIP or ERC standardization process is very much author driven. We would want author to be around in order to help make that as a standard. So it's a general advice to anyone who is proposing proposal. Move ahead with draft and to review and continue moving forward with whatever is recommended to like add in the particular standard. If you will receive any objecting feedback, you are advised to update your proposal. Otherwise, if you are getting positive community support, you can perhaps proceed towards final in the same flow. So yeah, that's a general
Yeah,
process.
so for example, the one which was pushed to stagnant is EIP 7784, and that's related to the making contract bytecode hashes, opcode for getting contract bytecode hashes. And that would basically imply that the core developers of EIPs have to take a look on that. Let me check if the link is correct. If I told the correct number, yeah, it's the one, the get contract opcode. And that would basically require that standard to be put on some kind of review for core developers. And if I would be told that, we'll review that in 1 month or in 2 weeks, even though it's very challenging for me because sometimes those calls are like 2 a.m. my night. And that's why I think it's very important to actually work on some kind of portal for that rather than relying on the online calls. Because if you just try to do that with online calls, you're just cutting the half of the planet out of from actually being able to, efficiently participate in that. Because any high performer, high intellectual person, in my opinion, more or less, will sleep at night. It's just quite not sustainable, and it requires insane amount of dedication to just wake up 2 a.m. just to go for a call, which often, like in my case, it's not a direct profitability. So it's not like part of my main work I be getting paid for, basically. So that said, I would say that at least like putting that on agenda is required and would be very appreciated, and then having even asynchronous review feedback would be useful. So if there would be some pace of, let's say that once the standard goes to the review stage, there is like 1 quarter or is some stack of capacity of the reviewers, so that like take first in, first out system, and they review as much as they can, and then the community prioritization. This is what I see as very needed, because I understand that core developers are overloaded. Their time is very precious, and they need to understand how to prioritize. And even though my standard might not seem initially as a priority, I can see a lot of applications where it is a priority. So and there is no mechanism today to actually like how do I prioritize that outside of like just like taking calls or having a personal relationship to all of the core developers.
Yeah, I can understand this is sometimes be challenging when people are in not very good time zone for the calls that happens. But generally speaking, for all core proposals, even if you are not able to make the call, it is a good idea to share that core proposal uh, to the all core dev agenda, and people can be discussed. I have noticed that there is a new web page, something called as forecast.org, and I have also added it here. People are free to like rank their proposals, share their thoughts and things like that. So if you could like work on the initial stuff, just explain what the proposal is, and bring it to any org or dev agenda for other developers to discuss this. I hope that would be helpful. But yeah, I'm not sure if we can do much about the time zone. That is another
Yeah,
problem. Yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
if anyone else has any other comment to add about the project, please feel free to add. I suppose we can share these links in today's meeting notes, so people can follow. If there is any other place where you could request for support, feel free to add the link, and I will be happy to share it with the community.
Yeah, thank you for attention, your time. And just to repeat at the end, so what we are trying to do here is to build something that is self-sustainable. And if the API editors would want to use our tool, we would basically look for, we would not look for much of financial support. We would rather want to make it self-sustainable by productizing it and inviting more of the ecosystem and, Arbitrum, Optimism, ZK Sync, all of them, and just pulling that all together and actually fighting the fragmentation of blockchain standards, which happens today. Thank you for your time.
And thank you for sharing. This is definitely a good initiative. As I can see it in the chat, people have liked the tool. So yeah, we are hoping to get more feedbacks on that. Very well, with that, we can perhaps move on to the next section, which is other discussion and updates. For this one, the first item added here is request to add a label for typo. I mean, this is my personal request. If we can get the label typo, that would be very easy to filter out, because, we are receiving a lot of typo related PRs and the volume is all increasing. I wonder, Sam, if this is possible to add an additional label.
Yeah, it should be. It wouldn't be automatic though. Somebody would have, like the author would have to create it through a template that adds it. So I don't know how useful it would be.
So we can perhaps create a template for all these kind of typo PRs. Even that would simplify the life as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and let's see if we can get that thing done, because that is good. We can also ask people to make a PR to do that. I will also check with other teams if there are any taker of it. Otherwise, we'll look for it. Thank you. The next one is I was hoping to have more editors on in here, but it seems like some of the editors have dropped for another call, and I don't know if we would be in a position to get a decision on the EIPS website, which is already shared here. Sam, I wonder if you got any async feedback on this, and we do have something to share on, like whether we are going with the new version yet.
I haven't had a chance to do any updates. It's really just a matter of getting the number of PRs down to something manageable. So.
Okay, then we can perhaps look into it in the following call for EIPIP and see in between if we can help decrease. Maybe we can come up with another call, something like ERC Blitz that we did a while ago to run it. Maybe.
Yeah, to catch up. Yeah.
That would be helpful. I don't see anyone from the EIPS Insight team, but perhaps we can take a look at the link that is added here in the agenda. And based on that, I am looking at the website, and it suggests that we have 5 new drafts in EIP, 6 new drafts in ERC. We have moved 4 proposals to last call and 2 proposals to final in ERC section. We do not have much progress on RIP side. However, we have moved 4 proposals to stagnant status on EIP side. So that's from the EIPS Insight monthly data analytics. Other than that, we are also working towards, as I mentioned, decreasing the number of open pull requests. So we have increased our number of editing office hours. Now it's going to be weekly. So the next week on Tuesday, July 22nd at 1600 UTC, it is with Gajendra Singh, which would be for EIP only pull requests. So authors, if you have any PR which requires editor's attention or you don't know why it is stuck for a long time, please feel free to join the call. Even if you are not able to make the call, please drop the link in the agenda so we can discuss it with the editor. Apart from that, I have also added list for the upcoming meetings. Meeting 67 will be EIP plus ERC with Victor, and meeting 68 will be EIP only again with Matt Garnett. So we are trying to take turns and address both set of GitHub repositories in order to decrease the number of open pull requests. So that's all about today's agenda. I wonder if anyone has anything else to bring up today, or else we can wrap up a little bit earlier. Cool. Thank you. In that case, I think we are getting our 15 plus minutes back. Thank you everyone for joining us here. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, PSKY, for sharing this project. Have a great rest of the day, everyone.